Hello, I'm Robert Killen, Director of the Lane Small Business Development Center, and before the day closes, I wanted to give you a brief update on the PPP, in particular the Paycheck Protection Flexibility Act. As I announced last week, the House passed this, the initial version. It just passed through the Senate here in the last hour. So this is good news for you. It still has to get to the President for signing, but everybody expects that to go through without a hitch. Here are the things that are included in the Flexibility Act that are important for you to know. So the first thing is the amount of time you have to use the funds. In the original language, you only had 8 weeks from the moment you received the funds until you paid them out to use those funds and potentially get them forgiven. That's called the covered period. That covered period has now been extended to 24 weeks. So giving you 3 times the amount of time to utilize those funds, significantly improving flexibility of their use. The other piece that I mentioned last week is that in the original language, you had to use at least 75% of your funds on payroll, leaving only 25% for other things. That 75% has now been reduced to 60, leaving you 40% to use on rent and utilities and other approved expenses. So again, greater flexibility there. And the third thing, which I did not mention last week, but I'm excited to announce, is that in the original language, whatever money is left over, what is not forgiven, resolves into a loan, and that loan was a 2-year loan. Granted, only at 1%, but if you only have 2 years to pay it back, those are still significant monthly payments, regardless of how much that loan is. So the new Flexibility Act extends that from 2 years to 5, making that loan much more reasonable, much more manageable for any amount that does not get forgiven. So I'm excited about that. All three of those are excellent for those of you who have PPP dollars. Now, here's the challenge. We know that all of these changes are going to blow up the forgiveness calculator, the forgiveness application that was just released 2 weeks ago. And the SBA is going to have to come out and revise the application based on this new language. And there are things in this new bill that create questions that haven't been answered yet. So unfortunately, although this does give you more time to sit on it and think about it, we're not going to know exactly how to optimize your use of these funds for forgiveness until the SBA goes back through their application and revises it to meet this new act. So that's unfortunate, but by and large, the changes to the use of funds and the front end use of the PPP are very good for business. I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'm happy to engage in conversation. Until next time, cheers.